On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Tony hunts large monsters, Ethan hunts a different large monster, and Shannon igas the vania. We talk about the week's biggest news and answer all of your questions. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
Yay!
Your yay ended abruptly there.
I wasn't sure how long to go with it.
Oh, okay. Turn off the GDQ stream.
Nope.
Okay. Because I know you're doing it. I know
It's
you're
on mute,
watching.
so I can
I know
watch
you're
it.
watching. That nice final run that they've got going on there.
Yep.
So, all right. How much money have they raised at this point?
2,326,250. Well, it keeps going up, so 202.3 million. There we go.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
What was their goal for the event? Did they
There's not really a goal.
Okay. I didn't know if they had like a goal they had announced.
They came up with a goal. I think before this run was to hit 2.5 because that would be a new record for out of all of them. They hit 2 million. I think last night. Yeah, it was last night, and that was like a new record for getting that far.
Well, it sounds like it's been a pretty good event so far.
Or new record for getting that much money in that amount of time.
Yeah. I know I will be spending the next few days catching up on all of the streams that I wanted to see and didn't watch.
I will be doing the same thing.
So, well, there you go. Also joining us this week, we got Shannon.
Hello.
What's going on, sir?
Oh, not much. Just, doing the same thing as Ethan. Devoting some attention to something else that's on mute.
It's a good thing the thing that I had on, that I was streaming is over, so they don't have to worry about it. But,
Tony was watching wrestling.
I was watching wrestling.
Hey, no shame in that.
So there's a big pay-per-view on today, and I had to see it. So
SummerSlam already?
no, Fighter Fest for All Elite Wrestling was on today.
All Elite Wrestling? What is that?
That is a new promotion that's going to start later this year. Started by a former WWE wrestler, Cody Rhodes, and some friends of his. They got the backing of one of the owners of an NFL football team down in Jacksonville, and they're actually going to be putting their show on TV on TNT, which WCW did back in the day. They were on TNT, so it's going to be like the 90s all over again.
Huh.
So I am looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to at least give them a shot. I don't know if I'll stick with it. I haven't watched a full like WWE event aside from their Wednesday night shows. Monday and Tuesday, I don't care about it anymore. They're boring. Nothing's going on.
Kenny Omega is an executive vice president. That's a name I know.
Yeah, he is. So, yeah, very much looking forward to it. I had to see Dean Ambrose, who's now known as John Moxley, who was in WWE earlier this year. His first match in AEW was tonight.
Cool.
So that's what I was watching. But right now, we're here to talk about video games. So Shannon, what have you been playing this week?
So I am playing a game for review, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Ethan and I have both played this.
Oh, really?
Yes.
See, I would have already played this had they have not canceled the Vita version. Because I backed this on Kickstarter, and then when they canceled the Vita version and offered refunds, I said, yes, please.
Well,
And
you
then
got the Vita version. It's just pronounced Switch.
a few weeks later, after I can't remember if it was like a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but shortly after they announced the cancellation of the Vita version, they announced the Switch version. So
Uh-huh.
It was along with the cancellation of the Wii U version.
yeah, like I felt like a dummy because I was like, all right, well, cool. I will now wait and buy it whenever it actually comes out because I had already taken the opt out when they gave it, which was I thought fairly polite. They handled it well for people who were wanting a specific version. So
they did a very good job with their stuff when they canceled versions of it because they weren't going to be able to fulfill those.
Yeah, because I mean, this, when I think of Castlevania style games, I usually want to play them portably. I enjoyed, uh, the Aria of Sorrow was one that I really greatly enjoyed on Game Boy Advance, and I liked Dawn of Sorrow on the DS, and the handful of other Castlevania games that I can't remember the names of because they're all so similar yet so weird.
Yeah, that series, it started on consoles, but it was really that GBA era that it really was at its peak, I think.
Yeah, and that's why I fell in love with it, and I believe the majority of those were all made by Iga, who is the front runner for this Bloodstain series. So
It was pretty much any of them that maintained the Symphony of the Night quality, going like into the GBA and into the DS era. That's where they're at.
Yeah.
To me, that's where I liked them at too.
yeah, I mean they were all excellent, and I really did enjoy all of the ones that I played. And playing the Curse of the Moon, making sure I'm saying the right title, that came out last year.
Yes.
Curse of the Moon that came out last year. That was quite enjoyable and made me look forward to playing this. So, what I will say so far, the story is interesting. I am very curious about the experiments and all of the weird stuff that happened in the past that they're kind of, throwing hints at. And even though every time I walk up to a bookshelf and it's really just giving me a tip or a hint about something going on, I really want to just walk up to a bookshelf and get like 5 pages of lore.
Yeah.
Because I'm really digging the world that they've built around this game.
Yeah, I love it whenever I find one that's got some lore behind it. It's just like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. Oh my gosh. Then other times it's like, here's a new technique for you that you'll never use.
Yeah. Like, hey, here's this quarter circle move that only works when you're wearing ninja shoes.
It even gets into like specific types or specific weapons of the type after a while. It's like, I'm not using that sword, so it doesn't matter to me. Throw this away.
If it's not a whip or a gun, I don't care.
I've been pretty partial to the short sword myself.
I ended up settling for a great sword.
Okay.
But that's because some stuff went in favor of that from some shards, so we'll just leave it at that.
That's something else I'm really enjoying is the shard system, is like getting to an enemy and finding a new enemy and getting the shard and having a new technique that I can use is always quite interesting, even though I feel like I have to instantly throw my Switch onto mute because Miriam just starts screaming violently.
Yeah, she does.
When she has another shard fly into her. So, of
course, I think I would too if I was having giant crystals being, impaling me.
Yeah, just being absorbed into your body. Yeah, that's a good point.
So before we really get into it too deep, though, one thing we need to tell people on the Switch, because you ran into this, Shannon.
Yeah.
Make sure if you download the game on the Switch that you
update the game.
Download the update for the game to get it to version 1.0.2?
I think it's 1.02. Yeah, okay. Like if you download this game or if you buy a physical copy of the game, make sure you fully update it before you start playing, because I started playing and then when I don't know if the update came out after I downloaded the game or what happened, but I I quit the game to play some musings, and then when I went to go launch the game the second time, it said, "Hey, there's an update," and it started downloading it. I get in, and I can't progress in anything because all of the items and stuff that I had collected from chests was just gone, and all of the chests were already showing as they were open. And I'm like, okay, so what do I do from here? All of the items I needed to progress are gone. I can't do anything else. Oh, this is a known issue, and 505 has already acknowledged do not play anything prior to this update.
Mhm.
So I lost almost 5 hours worth of gameplay and had
Wow.
to start back from scratch. So
Yeah.
that's not really spoiling my experience. So one one thing that comes kind of with the nature of these games is the exploration of each map and going, getting to know where you need to go as you're kind of crawling around from room to room.
Yeah.
So knowing where I needed to go has kind of sped up the process and progressing and getting back to where I was. So
That's good.
yeah, I mean that's when you think about it like this, when you play a Metroid game the first time, you have no idea what's going on and where you're going. But when you play a Metroid game again for the second time, you know exactly where to go and where everything's at. So
Yeah.
same kind of concept.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't know how long this game is going to be. When I think of typical Castlevania games, I think maybe 10 to 15 hours. So I'm saying it may take me about another week or so, and I'll try to get a review out on the site.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't know. I have not seen anybody talking about how long the game actually is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know how far things are going to go, but um, I'm looking forward to more of it. Like what I said to you, Tony, through line was that this to me feels like Donkey Kong Country Returns did for the Donkey Kong Country series. Like
Yeah.
it feels like the next step for this style of game. With that, you still have a 2D, um, you still have the 2D platforming nature of it, but it has this extra level of depth to it when you're going through things, because
Mhm.
there's things that are happening in the foreground, the background, and you have these levels where you'll start spiraling and the camera is parallaxing around you as you're running up a tower, and it does some really pretty things.
Yeah.
So,
And the beauty is, I don't think it's going to take 4 years between releases at this point now, because they're a known franchise. People are going to be excited about these releases because this game is really good, and the reaction to it so far online has been really good. And they did a really, really smart thing, I think, with releasing Curse of the Moon last year and now this one this year. So they
yeah.
have sort of these two different branches they could take the series down.
Hmm.
So you could create Curse of the Moon style games while the team proper is developing the next release of the full HD version of the game. And so you've got the ability to just sort of constantly pump out. And I know they won't constantly do it, but pretty regularly put out a new Bloodstained
Yeah.
game.
I mean, it's also they also have DLC that's been planned and announced for this game from the
Mhm.
Kickstarter campaign. So there's there should be more stuff to add onto this game after completion. Just no clue what or how long that kind of stuff is going to be. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
So
I think there was even like there was supposed to be DLC that was exclusive to a certain tier of Kickstarter backer. I don't know if it was like a 60 and up or a 100 and up
yeah, I
tier
don't know.
that they ended up confirming was also going to be for sale later on after release. And so there's more planned for this game, I
Yeah.
would imagine, before they put out another release. But
How has the game run for you? Because I know a lot of people have said on Switch that there have been some issues with the game
so
not running as well or not looking as good as the other versions, and the developers have actually responded to that feedback.
so I have nothing to compare it to because I do not own the game on
Yeah.
another platform, nor have I watched video of it being played on another platform. Also, I'm not playing it in docked mode. I'm playing it in handheld because, like I said earlier, these styles of games for me fit in the portable style of game. Like I enjoy them in short bursts, go from save room to save room, and pick it up at my next opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if I have one complaint about how the game plays, there is a little bit of delay that I've noticed between me pressing buttons that I feel like I've had to just kind of get used to timing with things. It feels like sometimes there's just a little bit too long of a delay between me pressing a button and the action actually happening on screen.
Okay. That's probably something that could be fixed fairly easily, I would imagine.
Yeah. But I mean, I do know just from looking at specs, this is running in 720 compared to 1080 on the other versions. I know.
Yeah, I think the Switch version is running at 720 30, and the other
others are
versions are running
1080
at 1080 60.
Yeah, but I mean, 30 frames doesn't look bad, and this style. I mean, you're not running as fast as Mario in a side-scrolling platformer. You're not having to do super precise jumps. You're not having to rush your way through. I mean, Miriam runs, but it's not as fast as you would imagine her ever needing to. It's a fairly slow-moving game, so I don't think you need 60 frames.
Yeah. If I had one real complaint about the game, I would say that I think Miriam moves a tiny bit too slow. And I realize Castlevania games are generally slower experiences. They're designed that way, but I think it just feels to me, and I'm not a huge Castlevania person. I don't have a ton of experience with it. I didn't play a lot on the GBA. I did play some. Super Castlevania 4 is still my favorite Castlevania game. That tells you how long it's been since I played all the way through a Castlevania game. But it feels to me like she moves just a hair too slow. Like her movement speed needs to be upped by 15% or something, to make it so it doesn't feel like she's walking through water. Is what it feels like to me.
She's kind of weighed down, man. She's half crystal.
I that's true.
That's really she didn't sink the boat.
And that's a real small complaint, because that's something Castlevania has been known for, is slow character movement. They're not super fast, Twitch reaction style games. That's not what they're made for.
Right.
So, but other than that, I've been playing it on PS4, and I have been enjoying the heck out of this game. It cool. Feels good to be playing Castlevania, even though it's not technically Castlevania.
Yeah, because Konami's not going to make any more of
them. All they're going to do is release the collections over and over again now.
Incomplete collections at that.
So, which I did pick up. I have played through some. There's a couple of those that I've never played before, so I wanted to play those. So I think those were worth the price of purchase alone, and then having all the rest of them.
Is Kid Dracula in that most recent collection?
Yes, it is.
Okay, isn't that like the first release? I've played Kid Dracula on the Famicom. I don't think that ever came out in the U.S. other than
no, it didn't. It didn't. Cool. And then I found out this week there's a Game Boy version of Kid Dracula, so now I want to play that. Like I want to play that version of the game.
Ask the internet, and a way shall be provided for you, sir.
I would really like for them to do another Castlevania collection to get the GBA games out there.
Man, that's one I'd throw money at.
So, I need to pick up that Contra collection because that looks really good too. But anything else about Bloodstained before we move on?
Well, that's pretty much it for Bloodstained, unless you want to start talking about Borderlands. I think that might be about it for now.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about Borderlands right now. So, all right, well, Ethan, that means It's your turn. What have you been playing?
I got the platinum in Bloodstained.
Did you?
Already?
Yeah,
Wow.
so did Stuart.
Wow.
Fun game.
It is.
So in the show notes, I put I hunted a Rathalos.
Okay. Playing Iceborne.
Nope,
Oh, okay.
I didn't play Monster Hunter at all.
Well,
Oh. No, you didn't go back to Final Fantasy 14, did you?
I never left.
Oh, come on, Ethan.
he's always been in Final Fantasy 14.
The newest expansion, Shadowbringers, comes out this week. I think it comes out the day this goes live for everyone. Maybe, I don't know. But because I pre-ordered, I got early access to it.
Get your fat black chocobo.
Yes, I got that too. I bought Kingdom Hearts 3. Or no, I bought my fat black chocobo, and it came with a free copy of Kingdom Hearts 3.
That was an expensive chocobo.
Maybe. I mean, you saw what I spent for the. You know what? Let's not talk about that.
Okay.
So, I spent like the last couple of months just kind of hopping back into 14, back out because my mission progress, my ability to progress through the main story. I beat the main storyline for Stormblood, I guess is the current or the last DLC, whatever expansion. There's all this after story they keep adding, and one of my goals was to work towards that Monster Hunter content they added to it. And I knew the first requirement was to be level 70. I thought I had to progress a lot further because of some item level stuff, which I think there was that too. And I just couldn't do this one progression mission, quest, or whatever you want to call it, because it was just, it's garbage, really. It's a stupid mission. Character keeps dying on me, or I die, or whatever. Anyway, I needed gear, and I was like, hey, I can probably get gear if I do these side missions that don't really matter. And the one I just happened to randomly choose was the Monster Hunter content. So I got to hunt a Rathalos. It was pretty cool. And he really wrecked me.
Really?
Yes.
Rathalos is an angry monster.
I don't even know how he was hitting me some of the times. Like, I would stand off to the side or something, and I would know he's doing a tail whip or something. I could get out of the way of those, or by the time I would notice, I was already hit. But it was like every other time I would just fall over, and it's like, what hit me? I'm getting up, and I'm stunned, and it's just, I didn't understand what was going on with that. But I am working my way towards the actual content itself for the Shadowbringers or whatever it's called. And I've already got the starting missions for both the Dancer and I think it's called Gunbreaker, which is the Dancer. I don't know what that does, but the Gunbreaker is the new Final Fantasy VIII Squall. It's his ability or his sword or that type of thing where you got the gun blade. It's kind of the focus on that, and it appears to be a tank class, but it's apparently really good in PvP as well. So other than that, I really haven't done too much. So that's the extent of what I've been doing. Other than Platinum Trophy and Bloodstained. What about you, Tony? What did you play?
Let's see. The only game anybody needs to be playing right now is Mario Maker, but I'm not going to talk about that right now because I want to put some more time into it before I talk about it a lot.
That's why I talked 14, because all I've done is story mode in that.
Yeah. I've put 2 levels out there online now for Mario Maker. You can check out my my stuff. My Maker ID is in the Facebook group. for anybody that wants it. I've also put it out there on Twitter, so you can check that out. But no, the thing that I have been playing a lot over the last few weeks, and I've wanted to talk about it, but we've had other things that have been going on. I said I've been hunting giant monsters, but I have not been playing Monster Hunter. I've been playing Dauntless, which is Monster Hunter, but it's not Monster Hunter, if you know what I mean.
It's Fortnite Monster Hunter.
It's Fortnite Monster Hunter, yes, basically. It is free to play Monster Hunter. I don't remember who the developer is, but it's published at least it is on the Epic Games Store, and you connect to an Epic Games account, and that then allows you to do cross save across every system, as well as cross play. So Switch, PS4, Xbox, PC, all those systems can talk to each other, play together, and then you can take your save information, all your outfits and monsters and weapons and things like that, to whatever system you want to play on. Oh, it's not out on Switch yet. Sorry, I think I mentioned that, but it'll be out on Switch later this year.
One of these days.
Yeah. They just say fall. They don't have an actual release date for Switch just yet. Otherwise, they'd be playing it on Switch all the time. But I'm playing on PS4 right now.
Is there not a jump in that game?
Yeah, you've got a jump button.
I could not find it when I played it.
Are you playing on PC?
Yes.
What's the jump button? F. F is the jump button.
I think I pressed F. I went through the entire keyboard and couldn't jump.
So.
Anyway, sorry.
It's X on my controller, so. Because I'm playing with a DualShock.
I have like 3 different controllers in front of me, and it's like X is here, here, and here.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. And I guess technically it's not X on the PlayStation controller. It's cross, but...
It's an X. We all know
it is an X. But yeah, so Dauntless, free-to-play, Monster Hunter. It is like an MMO-style hub world. Just, you get in, you have your character. There are shops all around the place. There are players running around looking for missions, buying things. Much like Monster Hunter, you have the guy that makes all your giant weapons. You got the person who takes all the monster parts that you've found and turns them into armor. Because it is free to play, there is also a shop that you can go and spend real money, which I have done. I spent $5 and got the season pass for this first season that's available.
Mm-hmm.
So I have some nice cosmetic armor that you can only get from that. And I got the Twitch Prime armor as well, because there is a Twitch Prime exclusive armor set for your characters.
Yes, there is. I think I informed you of that one. That's why I had to hop in there so I could get it registered for my account.
I think so, because I would not have thought about that if you hadn't told me.
I got to the starting town or whatever it is, and that's where I just said, I'm done. I think I got it. Good to go. I have no idea if the armor's even on my character or what. I have no idea.
Well, it's a cosmetic armor piece, so you have the armor sets that you get from the monsters, but then you can actually
I just mean, like, is that cosmetic thing something I have to go pick up from someone in the game, or...
No, it's not.
Okay, it's just it's on my account.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So when you go to equip different armor sets, there's a button that is specifically for cosmetic things. I don't remember exactly what it's labeled as, but there's something that you can go in there and you can choose to make the armor look like any of the other armor sets if you want. So you can have the ice monster, you can have one of the ice monsters armor on, but if you pay one piece of in-game currency, you can make that armor look like another monster's armor if you want, or you can use some of this stuff like the Twitch Prime armor, like the armor pieces that you spend real world money on, because that's what the real world money spent on is cosmetics, and you can buy dye kits, so you can dye things different colors, things like that. So, and you can do that for both weapons and armor, which is nice. So, the one thing I don't like about that is there's no universal thing. So, if I want to have my armor set look like something specifically, I have to go into every other monster pieces of armor and change that cosmetic thing to look the way I want it to. Otherwise, when you switch armor, it'll switch it to the one you've actually chosen and not the cosmetic piece that you want. Which is a little bit of a pain. I hope they fix that at some point and give you the option to have this like universal
just do it all at once
thing. Yeah.
That would be nice. I'd like to see that in more games like Destiny 2 and such.
But in terms of actual Monster Hunter style gameplay, it feels like it's around the time of, say, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. It's definitely not as feature heavy as like Monster Hunter World. So if you're used to all of those different systems that you have available in Monster Hunter World, this is going to feel maybe like a little bit of a step back. But I think it's a really good starting point. It feels really good. The monsters are big. They're scary. The weapons, there's I think 5 or 6 different types of weapons that you can choose from. So you got sword, you've got a giant axe, you've got dual blades, which are your very fast weapon. There are repeating pistols that you can use, which I really like as well. And then there's another weapon that I'm really starting to get used to, the war pike, which I don't think there's...
The war pipe?
Pike, not pike.
Okay.
I always thought people were saying war pipe as well when I heard them talking about it, but it's pike. It's just a giant pokey stick. So, the weapons have a good weight to them. They feel similar to what you would expect from something like Monster Hunter. The mission structure is very similar. You just go in, you can choose. There's 2 different types that you can choose. You can choose patrol or the other one, which I don't remember what it is, because I basically always choose patrol. Patrol gives you a random monster to fight, but you can choose one of the different elements. So you can choose a frost patrol or a fire patrol or a shock patrol, or the equivalent of what Earth is. I think I don't remember what it is exactly. Terra. So you can choose that, and it will give you one of 3 random monsters that are themed around that element type. And then the other type of hunt that you can do will just let you choose. So if you're trying to get a specific monster's parts to build some weapons or armor, you can go in and choose that. But the patrols, I think, give you more loot at the end. It's much more random, so you don't know exactly what you're going to get, but you get more from doing a patrol than you do the other type of mission.
Awesome.
So it's a really, really good Monster Hunter alternative. It does make me realize I should go back and actually just play Monster Hunter, but I've been having a ton of fun playing this game. It's free to play, so you can drop as little or as much money as you want into it. But yeah, I imagine I'll be playing this for quite a while, especially once it comes to Switch.
Cool.
But that's it for me. Do you guys have any questions about Dauntless or?
How long until it's got the Battle Royale mode?
Oh gosh. That's another thing.
Or is it called Fortnite mode at this point?
It would be, yeah. Just call it Fortnite mode. One of the things I want to talk about was the multiplayer portion of this, because I have not even found a way. I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it. You can go in and do solo hunts. But when you start a hunt and you just let it choose a party, it's really, really quick
Oh,
to get you in, and it just chooses 3 other players for you to team up with at random. You get in, you fight the monster. There are ways that you can communicate in game, or it's got voice chat, which seemed pretty, harmless at this point. I've not had a bad experience with voice chat. It doesn't seem like a ton of people are talking online, um, but I have had a few that have done it and tried to coordinate really nicely with the weapons that the different party members were using, because hammers and war pikes and repeaters all do different things to the monster. So if you've got someone who's got a hammer and can stun the monster, and then you can then use the other players to go in and break parts really easily while the monster's stunned. But you get in, it gives you your 3 other players, and then once the mission's over, it drops you right back to the hub. You don't ever see those people again.
hooray!
So it's really seamless. It's really convenient, and the game really does work best if you're going in with a full party of 4 players.
Good.
So I have not had a bad experience online with this game yet, and because of the amount of stuff that you can customize your characters with, everybody looks so different from everybody else. I've not seen, aside from people who have been like, I just got the season pass, so I'm putting on that armor that you get in the season pass. But even after a couple fights, they've, if you do happen to see them again, they're wearing something different. So altogether, been having a really good time with it.
Sounds awesome.
But you do have to like that Fortnite art style. So it relies very heavily on that. So there you go. But that is all that I have been playing. So let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk about the news. All right, guys. News time. First up, we've got Stadia news.
Sweet Stadia.
It's awesome news. You're going to be paying full price for games.
Full price?
Yeah.
For a game I don't even physically own?
For a game you don't own in any way.
For a game that I could probably never own after they shut down their networks a year from now?
That's a possibility.
Deal
so
breaker.
Phil Harrison said this week, I don't know why games would be cheaper. The value you get from the game on Stadia means that you can play it on any screen in your life. TV, PC, laptop, tablet, phone. I think that's going to be valuable to players. In theory, the Stadia version of a game is going to be at the highest possible quality of innovation and sophistication on the game engine side. So if you pay $60 for the game on PlayStation, expect to pay $60 for it on Stadia as well.
Oh, geez, why don't we just pay more for the rights to having to use their own network to play our games?
So, and while I don't like this, I somewhat understand, but I also don't. The one thing I really want to avoid, and I'm afraid could come from things like this, is that race to the bottom like we had on mobile.
That was such a short race, too.
People don't want to pay anything for a game. If you have to pay $1 or anything above that, they just don't even bother. And so that's why every game on mobile has to be free to play with some sort of microtransaction model, or people just don't care.
Yeah, thanks, Apple. You ruined that one, and you ruined Stadia at the same time.
And so I want to avoid that, but at the same time, also, $60 is a lot to ask people for a game that they can't even download and play. Like if the servers are offline for any reason, if
you're paying $60 and you get
instant
access, though.
So, we talked about this when a lot of games started to go digital. We thought, because you're not buying physical media that the games would be cheaper. That ended up not being the case, and that's just become the norm at this point, whether we like it or not.
And they usually don't go on sale as often, or if ever, like physical media does. Unless you're Steam, where that's some pretty good sales on that.
Or PlayStation does occasionally. You know, they have those flash sales that are really nice. Sometimes things are, up to 80-85% off.
Unless there's like a certain game you want to play, such as Final Fantasy. Oh, what is it called? Crisis Core? Where there's like a legal obligation to not have a digital version of that game ever.
And there are a handful of games that get stuck in that. I don't know about it actually being written in, but there's a whole lot of games, especially on Xbox, that I just wish would have come digital that never did.
Oh, that too, yeah.
So,
I'm really surprised that they're not trying to go for a subscription model, or at least that they have come out and said this instead of saying, "Hey, yeah, we're going to have a Game Pass type thing."
Well,
and Netflix subscription.
They're kind of doing both.
Well, they have the subscription, but all it does is it gives you access to 4K and
whatever games they have available on for that part of the service for that amount of time, right?
Yeah, which as of right now is one game in the entire library that's going to be available.
But you get Destiny 2 with it.
It seemed so much that they were touting, this Netflix of games. And I think if they had gone with that model, it charged people $15 a month or whatever, I think people would easily pay that. And then give them a library of games of AAA games that people can play whenever they want, as long as they're subscribed to the service. And right now, it doesn't look like that's going to be something that is a huge part of what Stadia is going to offer at the moment. So, that right there is a deal breaker to me. Where I had been interested in Stadia, was really curious. I have the internet, I have the bandwidth to be able to handle Stadia, so I was potentially a customer of that. And now I'm not going to do that, because I'm not going to pay $60 to not at least have a copy of the game that I can play offline should I choose, even if I don't own a physical version of the game.
They gotta have something planned to prevent that, right? Or to help alleviate that, right?
Yeah, you don't have anything that you can download the game to, so there's no way that you can play it offline. Maybe if you're playing it on PC, they'll give you some option to, be able to
run it through your own program and play it only on your network while you're at home like that. But that's kind of pointless.
I know.
Now if they could do the thing that was it Bethesda that showed they were showing that girl playing Doom through her phone using a controller from a computer in the back. So if they have something planned like that I could see that potentially being a thing, so that way you have not physical copy, but you have a copy that you can play at your leisure, even if their network is down. You can just hop onto your own. But then again, it's like, well, if this technology already exists without Stadia, then what do you need Stadia for?
Exactly.
And you can do it without their subscription. So again, Stadia, what are you bringing to the party here?
They're bringing hog all your bandwidth and use up your data caps.
They brought generic potato chips to a party.
Bad form, Stadia, bad form.
It's not even a party bag.
So, there you go.
My analogy is horrible. I'm sorry.
They're going to have to do something to, I think, bring people to, bring back interest in this. Otherwise, Stadia is going to be dead as soon as it arrives. in terms of that. I mean, that tech is going to be interesting, and that tech, even if Stadia itself dies, that's going to be the next building block to whatever future we have, because game streaming is going to be the future. I think there's no doubt about that. Everybody's trying to get into that in some form or another. Um, but Stadia is going to have a hard time surviving if they can't bring something that's completely different than what people can already get.
Exactly.
So, any other news from GDQ that you want to talk about, Ethan?
Let's see, 2.361. Nope, they're not. I mean, they're still going. They got like 2 hours left on this run.
Are there any particular streams you want to highlight?
Ooh, yes. Let's see. I mean, we already. I think we mentioned the Castlevania DOS one at the start, or was that pre-show? I forget which.
Which everybody, I don't remember when we talked about it, but everyone should go watch Castlevania DOS.
Gosh, just that run.
Okay, skim Castlevania DOS. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Just
I'm gonna recommend watching the Sonic Generations run, especially just the ending portion of that. Whenever you know what, I'm not even gonna spoil that. Let's just say it involves Sonic's what is it, his 20-something birthday, 28th birthday, and it was a really nice moment that the whole crowd was involved in on that. Let's see I'm just kind of going through here trying to see the few that I ended up catching. Oh man, I missed a Metroid run. Wow. Uh, oh, they ran Time Spinner this year. Did that in
Really?
about 25 minutes. So if you've been interested in seeing a speed run of that game or whatever, I mean, Time Spinner, it's kind of a Castlevania game. Came out last year, I think, or maybe the year before. I don't know. It's pretty much a Castlevania game, like in the sense of Symphony of the Night, but it's using like Super Nintendo graphics. Um, there was a Bloodstained Curse of the Moon run that was pretty cool. They did a three-player co-op run of Borderlands 2. It was interesting because they had the three of the devs on Discord on a Discord call with them at the time, so there was some conversation topics like why did you add this or why did you make this scene take 5 seconds longer after, and the dev just says you're welcome. So we didn't get an actual answer, but it's for good reason there. Uh, oh, Punch Out was done blind, or Punch Out Wii was done blindfolded.
oh, that sounds.
I need to watch that run.
Jason said the Resident Evil 2 2019, the remake, that the end of that run was pretty awesome because I guess they had like a glitch showcase at the end. I don't know. There was a Sonic Adventure DX Big the Cat, 2 players, 1 controller run, which
Nice.
I'm interested in seeing that myself. They ran Mort the Chicken. There was jokes made about running that game. So that's a thing. uh, I actually missed so much of this because I had so much work this week.
Mm-hmm.
But there was the Super Mario World blind relay race where there's all these Kaizo randomized levels. So that's going to be a good one to check out. And there was the Super Mario Brothers 3 race. Another Mario World hack, Invictus, that was done. Grand Poo World 2, ran by Mitch Flower Power while they had Barb, the guy who made that ROM hack of Super Mario World, on the couch along with Grand Pooh Bear, the game was made in his honor or whatever. There was also a Banjo Kazooie race. Then, Super Mario Galaxy, Mario Kart Double Dash. It's a long list. I'll just quit right there.
So they're very close to that 2.5 million that they're wanting to get, though.
I'm sure
Hopefully,
in the last probably 30 minutes that thing's gonna go crazy with donations.
yeah. Especially if people see that they're getting really really close to that and can maybe hit that goal. So
I wouldn't be surprised if like they get down to like the last hour and uh oh I forget her name, Sumiko or something. If she would come out on stage and say, "Hey, if we get hit 2.5 before the end of this run, we'll have one final surprise run game." They did that one year and ran Mario 64, so that was pretty cool.
well, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So there you go. Go check out all of those streams on YouTube because
YouTube.com/Games Done Quick.
yep. All right.
Or you can check them out on the Twitch videos on demand, so that way you can actually hear some of the cool music that they play between games because they seem to have separate recordings, so that way they could avoid the copyright stuff on YouTube. So that way they don't have that music playing between those for their cuts and all that.
Well, we now have news about the free games you're going to be able to get in the month of July if you subscribe to 2 of the 3 console subscription services.
All right, hit us.
So while you're paying $60 for all your Stadia games, Microsoft and PlayStation are giving you some free ones. And Microsoft games with gold, all July long, you can get Inside for free.
Cool.
Big Crown Showdown will be available in the back half of the month. Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Very cool.
For the first 2 weeks of July, you can pick that up. And then Meet the Robinsons in the back half of the month.
I'm sure Travis will love it.
He probably would.
I got really excited because you said Symphony of the Night, and I was like, I already own this on 360. So I own it on Xbox One.
Well, now you can get it for free again.
But I already own it, so I can't get it for free on there.
It won't let you to get the games for gold version because you already own it.
Yep.
So, and then PlayStation Plus is Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 and Horizon Chase Turbo.
Everyone play Horizon Chase Turbo. That game is cool.
I will be downloading it the second it is available. So that looks like a nice throwback racing game. That looks like a lot of fun. So there you go. That is Microsoft and PlayStation. Nintendo has not announced what games will be available on Nintendo Switch Online beginning in July. But during their recent shareholder meeting, they were asked about when people might be able to expect content from more current consoles than the NES. And they said their response was, at this place, we cannot tell new information about future classic hardware, among others, but we are thinking about providing an extension of the online service, which is currently providing Famicom NES software, as well as other methods of providing them. We also recognize that there are opinions of wanting to play past titles.
They're going to introduce original Game Boy games.
So while they have no news, they are thinking about adding more systems to the Switch Online service.
It's not even something they need to think about. They just need to say, yeah, it's a plan. We don't have a date yet. That's like the best thing they could have said. They know people want these games, and they're not doing it.
The best thing I think a lot of the internet would have said is, N64 or GameCube games, but that's not going to happen. The thing that a lot of people are really upset about is they talked about the Nintendo Switch Online service before it was available, they talked about it with both NES and Super Nintendo titles,
Mm-hmm.
and we've not seen a Super Nintendo title at all on the service. I can't tell you the last time I actually played a game through Switch Online, those NES titles.
They don't play very well online.
They don't play very well online. The online experience is very laggy in those NES games.
I heard it might work better on
I'm-
Stadia.
Oh gosh. You know, I was really hoping for that to be a cool experience because especially games like Balloon Fight, I wanted to be able to play that stuff with you guys, hundreds and hundreds of miles away
Yeah.
and actually enjoy it, but we can't play those games and have a good time. It's always a bad experience.
Yep, every single time. It is so laggy.
I just remembered that Stadia headline I saw. The Stadia will be more dead on arrival than Ouya.
Oh
no.
Sorry.
Didn't I see that Ouya servers are getting ready to go offline soon?
I think that ends this month, July. I think. I
So
deleted
you
the
won't
email
even-
because mine doesn't work anymore because it overheats.
You won't be able to do anything on Ouya.
Yep. So download your stuff now because all it'll be good for after that is a emulator, and you have to download your emulator from their network still.
And I think the Raspberry Pi is probably a better emulator than the Ouya.
Absolutely.
Oh, the 4 will be a better emulator. I think the 3 is kind
Raspberry
of.
Pi 3B Plus is already pretty great, as long as you're not expecting to get PlayStation or N64.
I actually got the
emulation.
Ouya to run N64 pretty good for a while.
Oh, okay.
Raspberry Pi, on the other hand, yeah.
I want a GameCube Mini. When I can get GameCube emulation on something like that, very nice. Then I'll be very interested in that.
What do you think it's going to take for Dolphin emulation, reliable Dolphin emulation on a portable
I don't
platform?
know.
Well, part of the problem is the disc thing spins backwards in the GameCube, I thought. And so it made it harder for the disc to be read if you tried to rip the ROM, so that's problem 1.
Those ROMs are already out there. Don't kid yourself; they're already out there.
Oh, I know they're out there. Just shame the site I used to use is dead.
Well,
Yeah.
I need a new
you just
site.
gotta stay ahead of the curve.
I still need to figure out how to get my Raspberry Pi to connect to the internet so I can get that one game on there.
Not the internet, just the network.
Yeah, I need it to be. I need my computer to see that I have a Raspberry Pi on the network so that I can copy that file over onto the NES because it's one I can actually legally say, you know what, I want to play this on a Raspberry Pi, and there ain't nothing nobody can do about it.
You should be able to just dump it onto a flash drive, plug the flash drive in, and launch. What's the
Yeah, but
emulation station, and
would
it'll
you
dump
be-
it.
Okay. See, I haven't done that part before. I've always done the find it on the network and pull it from wherever and copy it to there.
That is typically the easier solution, but you can. I forget what the folder structure is, but there's a folder structure that emulation station will automatically dump from. So if you just have a thumb drive in when you launch emulation station, it'll pull things from that folder.
Let's discuss
I'll have
this
to look
after
that
the
up
show
and
so
I'll-
we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That would be a good idea.
I'll look it up.
You heard nothing, people.
Nothing, not a thing. Final Fantasy 14.
Yes.
They might be doing a live action TV show.
It is possible.
Where did you see that news?
This one I saw it on both Destructoid, Silicon Era. It might have been on Kotaku somewhere. I don't know. I don't follow them on Twitter anymore, or at least I don't think I do. Anyway, apparently Sony Pictures Television and Hive Mind have partnered with Square Enix to create a live-action-based Final Fantasy XIV It's supposed to be an original story taking place in the realm of 14, the Erzia, or however you say the name. I don't
Yeah.
know.
You're yeah, you're there.
Eorzea. So it should be kind of interesting if they do it right, because they're wanting to do a drama series on that. I mean, honestly, I'm wanting more action and chocobo stuff on there, but that's just me.
Netflix needs more chocobos.
Indeed.
There's a severe lack of chocobos on any of the TV streaming services.
We need genetically altered chicken slash ostriches so we can call them chocobos.
And then they're going to somehow figure out how to insert download codes into the TV show that if you scan them with your phone, they will connect to your Final Fantasy XIV account and you'll get TV show exclusive items in the game.
Square Enix can't make a good app. Don't say that. Their apps are garbage and pointless.
So, well, they can dream.
It's like the only thing the Final Fantasy XIV app is good for is so you can get a second free travel destination after you log into it once. Other than that, you can use it for chatting with people who are online on your guild or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, there you go. That will be the news. So, let's move on to listener feedback. And Lang via Facebook this week asks, do we have any stories of obligations taking priority over a game you've been waiting to play for months? I've been waiting for the Stormblood expansion, but I totally forgot about early access and took a booking for the weekend. He is a wrestling ref, and that's what he's
Stormblood's
mentioning.
ending. It's going into Shadowbringers. But you know what? He's busy. I can understand the mistake. I've been waiting a while for Bloodstained, and I had to wait like an extra day to play it because I had to get the podcast up and running for people. You're welcome.
I don't have anything that just comes to mind off the top of my head. I really have to think about that because I don't do anything. I don't take a day off from work if there's a game coming out. I just wait to play it in the evening. So I don't know that I have anything like that. I mean, I could probably go back to when I was a teenager and there was a game I wanted to play and then had like a baseball game that day and had to wait to play. But
Man, I don't even remember the release date for games back when I was in school.
When Animal Crossing New Leaf came out, I took a week vacation.
You'll be doing that in March, so
Yeah,
you can go ahead and start. You can put that on your calendar now.
plan it on the calendar now. We booked our cruise for the same. Like, I had no idea that Ni no Kuni was coming out on Switch, and it's coming out while we're in the middle of a cruise this year.
Well, you better cancel that cruise.
No. But it's one of those things where if the week would have lined up any differently, I would have it on the ship with me, and I would be in the room the whole time playing Ni no Kuni. So I think Ni no Kuni also comes out the same week as Dragon Quest XI comes out on Switch too. So two crazy RPGs coming out simultaneously while I'm on vacation, and I'm hundreds of miles away from a store to go buy. So.
September and Dragon Quest XI can't come soon enough. I am looking forward to that. So, but I guess that will be the show for this week. So thank you, Shannon, for being on the show.
It was a pleasure.
And Ethan, thank you.
Yep. Uh-oh, my stream broke.
You'll never know if they make their goal.
Oh no. We're not ending the show until I fix this.
Will they make it? Will they
Okay, I
make
got it back. They're almost at 2.4. They're like less than 4,000 away.
They'll make it.
Okay, now the show's over.
If you want to reach out to us, we have tons of new ways to do so. You can email us at podcast@procgent.com. That's PROCGENT.com. You can send us a voicemail if you want by clicking on the voicemail link on the right side of the website. You can send us voicemails up to 90 seconds in length, and we'll play those on future episodes of the show and respond to the questions that you have. If you like what we do here, you can now support us on Patreon, patreon.com/pgint. Patreon supporters will get a video version of the podcast a day early. These will normally go out on Tuesdays. Patreon supporters will get them on Monday. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/progenint. Check out our YouTube channel that we've got and see the content we've got going on up there. And then we still do have the Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.